Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and welcome back to the Honda E. This is my favorite little city car. It is quite expensive, it does have very little range, but man does it have some crazy personality and most importantly some crazy torque off the line. In this video we're actually going to take the Honda E up onto the German Autobahn to some de-restricted sections and to see what this car is like at top speed. This is a test that you guys have asked us to perform on every car that we're testing here in our European series, and well, we're taking the city EV to the highways. The sun is setting just off into the distance here, so we're trying to get out onto the Autobahns as quickly as possible, but just look at how cool this car looks. I really love it. So again, about 40,000 euros, a 35 kilowatt hour battery pack, but I've only been able to charge it from 0 to full and add about 28, 29 kilowatt hours. You can see these digital mirrors. We'll see how well they work on the Autobahn looking for cars coming up behind. It looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of a night run. I think this car looks best from the back. This might just be its best angle with those rear tail lights. So cool, so neat for sure. It's rear wheel drive. It has, again, about 300 Newton meters of torque, about 7 seconds, 0 to 60. You can see here, it's a full 5-seat vehicle. We have plenty of other videos on this car going over its range on Inside EV's YouTube channel, going over the charging, a previous video here on this channel, going over just driving it around the city, which is what this car is really intended for. We have about 54% state of charge remaining, so that means we're going to probably burn through the juice pretty quickly at top speed, and then I will charge it up afterwards. The car is predicting 100 kilometers of range at 54% given our driving, so I'd say let's load this thing up, get the cameras in, and take it out onto the Autobahn. Today's video is brought to you by EV Wash. You can see here I'm using the Waterless wash solution on the hood of my electric smart car, cleaning it up. Very cool. More cool than what's inside of this bottle is actually the way that you can refill it. Once you run out of your solution inside the bottle, come back here. This is a sustainable washing company, again, branded EV Wash. You take your biodegradable refill pouch that you purchase on their website, fill back up your bottle. It's a lot less expensive and better for the environment than just buying new bottles every time you run out. EV Wash, the link is in the description. Use the code OUTOFSPEC30 for 30% off your full EV wash kit order. Support the companies that support us for making these videos possible. Here we are pulling out of our little parking lot that we've been using to film. It's actually quite spacious on the south side of Munich. I wasn't expecting this to have so much open space and farmland. So let's get up to speed, full acceleration. That's the best part of this car, is it gets it pretty hard. So driving on the Autobahns, I'm so excited to see this car go. Again, 53% state of charge. We do have some charging stations off of the highway in case I do happen to run out. We'll take a look at the efficiency as we always do. It's not a scientific test, but I'd say let's run on up. You guys already know everything there is to know about this car. This is like our 5th video with it, and unfortunately it will be the last. This is my last day with this car. It gets picked up in the morning, so let's make the best of it. Let's get it up to its top speed. We have to do it, and see how this thing performs when we give it the full beans. These types of small villages are really where the Honda E excels, in these types of environments, because you know, it's so small, it's so nimble. I've already shown you driving around the city, of course, but I've had the chance now to spend about 5 days with this vehicle, and I have to say I've really fallen in love with it. It is expensive. It is maybe not have the most amount of range. Again, 83 miles at 70 miles per hour, but I bet it would do 120 miles in an urban environment. And it just fits the bill for around here. It's actually very interesting. You know, driving a lot of European EVs, it seems to me that you know, most EVs or most cars are designed for here and then adapted for the US. And this car, of course, is adapted, probably built and designed for China, what am I saying? Japan, of course, that's where this car comes from. I don't know where my head's going, been filming all day. And then, you know, of course, I just don't think this car would work in the US. Americans wouldn't understand it at all, but I get it, and I understand this car for this market. I would not recommend a Honda E if you don't have a home charging port, because the DC charging curve isn't really that great, but for the most part, I think you just plug it in at home, charge it up to 80%, drive it where you want to go, and then plug it back in, and it seems to work really well for this type of scenario, for this type of use case. We're just about to merge onto the Autobahn. It comes up with these traffic updates every 5 minutes, I think. It might be every 30 minutes, actually. But it's quite annoying. I know there is a setting to turn it off, but we don't have this in the US where the car just starts giving you traffic reports randomly, forcing them onto the stereo. Heading towards Salzburg on the Autobahn 99. Foot down on the on-ramp. Let's select sport mode here. We have exactly 50% state of charge. Drive mode unavailable. There's sport. Thank you very much. And merging on, foot to the floor. Oh, that guy's motoring. We are wide open throttle, merging up 110 kilometers, 120, 127. We have a car on our left going for an overtake. Going for another overtake. We've reached max speed, 150 kilometers per hour. It feels smooth. There's quite a bit of hum coming from the motor back there. 150 pegged, and it looks like we're instantly coming into a speed restricted zone at 120 kilometers per hour. Let's get the speed down. Very nice. Should we try some of Honda's driver assistance while we have to wait for a de-restricted zone? So I'll turn it on here. I get a little Honda E on the screen, it looks like. We'll move to the right, of course. Everyone we just passed will repass us. We'll lock the speed in at 120 kilometers per hour. A big annoyance with this car is every time you select your speed that you want to travel, it turns off one pedal driving, and you have to keep turning it on every time. Now I will select Honda's active lane centering, and it's doing everything for us right now. How about this? Just keeping us right in the lane on the right-hand side. Seems to be doing pretty well. I will say the car's speed limit recognition is about the worst that I've tested so far. Volkswagen ID3 knows the speed limit somehow everywhere. Even with the digital signs, it gets it perfectly and very far in advance. And as a foreign driver, this is really helpful with all the speed limit changes. My eyes aren't trained to go to the places where speed limits are in Germany, so it's very easy to get confused, and the ID3 does a great job of predictive speed analysis. Here though, it has no idea what the speed limit is. It just thought it was 20 kilometers per hour. Let's see if it picks up the 120 zone. We just went under the 120 sign. It does. It picked that up. Good job, Honda E. That was an obvious one. We'll be merging here to Salzburg. We'll hit some de-restricted section. We've already burned 4%. And then I'm going to reset our trip computer once we're in some more de-restricted area and see how poor the efficiency is pegged at 150 Ks. It's a beautiful evening. We've had incredible weather here in Munich. It's been, I want to say, about 60 degrees, maybe 50 degrees at night, quite chilly, but then in the day it's been in the 70s. It's been really nice. We'll let this van pass us here, and then we are into de-restricted zone. You can see no speed limit signs anywhere, and it just means hammer down, baby. So let's kick off all of the cruise control things that we don't need anymore. How do we do this? Cancel, off, somehow. It's okay. We turn it all off. There we go. No lane centering, no cruise. We're getting passed on the left. We'll make a lane change. Now keep in mind, you want to stay in the rightmost lane as much as possible. We are now pegged at max speed. Hopefully this van will move over. That is the correct way. Thank you very much. Love driving in Germany. People just move over once they've reached their desired max speed. That's the way it should be. And here we are. My foot is just to the floor. We are in sport mode, cruising along. It is such an interesting experience to be able to drive this quickly and be totally legal. I really think the system works well. There's a lot of talk about imposed speed limits coming here to Germany. It's a hot topic. It's quite politicized. And personally, I think, I'm a fan of no speed limits. It's a recommended speed limit of 130 kilometers per hour, but you can see most people are pretty sensible. Look, we're coming up on this person. They move out of the way. We're back to full throttle, and here we go. Lovely. And we'll put on one pedal driving so we get extra regen. Once we've passed everyone, we'll go into the rightmost lane that we can safely travel, and that's about this one here because there's cars merging in, and we're not holding anyone up. That's great. This thing is so quiet. For being a city EV, it's really quiet at max speed. Let's reset. Oh, there's an Audi coming up. This is where the digital mirrors fooled me there almost. That was a little bit of an awkward scenario where with cars coming up and not having real glass, it's a little bit hard to judge the distance because the rear view mirror and the side view mirrors are at different focal lengths. And this, I don't think, is so great on the highway. Also at nighttime, I've noticed on the Autobahns that these digital mirrors can get a little bit blinded. Personally, I think the glass mirrors work better. I really wanted to like these, and again, maybe they work better on the Audi. This is the first one I've tested, but I think it's probably not worth the compromise of having this weird vision relearning process rather than just putting a mirror on the side of the car. It's not like this car is crazy efficient. Let's reset the trip odometer, trip A reset. Here we are at pegged at max speed. So it said first indication 284 watt-hour per kilometer at max speed. That's not terrible, actually. And of course, the higher speed you go without the mirrors, the better it'll be. So on flat ground with no wind, 0 wind today, the car is predicting 290, mirrors makes no difference, watt-hour per kilometer, 28.4 kilowatt-hour per 100K. And that's thirsty, don't get me wrong, pretty thirsty, but not terrible considering the speeds that we are driving. So here's the Honda E at max speed. We're just pegged along, cruising down the Autobahns. There's faster cars, of course, that will be approaching on the left. You can see this person's indicating left, and there's no one on my left side, so I'll move over, let them come by. We'll zip on through. And, you know, most of these city electric cars have more than an adequate top speed, and 150 kilometers per hour is more than adequate, even in the land with no speed limit. See here, for example, I can go all the way to the right lane and travel over here. When we approach this truck, we'll pass again. Works well, the system is great, and the system only works because the drivers are disciplined. Very rarely, only 1 or 2 times in my entire stay in Germany have I seen someone pass on the right. Oh, ripping the M135i. That's so cool. I love it here. We will have, of course, a lot faster cars coming on this channel. This is probably the slowest top speed EV we will have, and we need to make our passes as short as possible because cars are really getting it. It's a Monday after work. People are trying to get home out of Munich, and they are serious about it. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. We have a view of the Alps off in the distance. It's absolutely amazing here. This is one of my favorite places on the planet, and I can't thank you all enough for watching our videos to make trips like this possible. Thanks again. Have a great day. See you on the next one. Hard on the brakes, merging right. I'm gonna go charge this up at the Ionity charging station here. Have a great one. We'll see you on the next. Bye-bye.